After more than a year since my first zombie video, I have decided that it's finally time to give it a fresh update with even more mods that will turn the world of GTA 5 into a zombie-riddled apocalypse full of realistic gameplay and survival mechanics and beautiful dystopian environments. Like always, everything needed will be in the description, and for a more extensive gameplay with these and many other mods, make sure to check out the zombie series on my channel, link in the description or in the upper right corner. Beginning of course with the zombie mod, Simple Zombies, contrary to its name, is actually very complex. First off, it will add two types of infected, slow silent ones and fast ones that scream as they run towards you. The mod also incorporates a looting system that allows you to gather food and water from stores in order to sustain your new thirst and hunger stats, and loot corpses for resources that are then used to craft items in your inventory. With them you can build a campsite, for example, where you can spend the night, or use different materials to barricade yourself, while a workbench will allow you to use weapon parts to craft ammunition for your arsenal. Another way of obtaining items and weapons is through the random Meriwether supply drops that can be hijacked in a limited amount of time. Apart from them, there's also other hostile survivors that will spawn in the world, as well as friendly ones that can be recruited as bodyguards and interacted with. There's broken cars that will randomly spawn. Those and any other ones that break down can be fixed using yet another item from your inventory and then saved so they don't disappear in between sessions. Noise attracts the zombies, which is why you should use suppressors, as well as many other features that I'll leave you to figure out on your own, because there really is a lot. But as I said, Simple Zombies is not so simple. One of the main changes that we'll make is to the weapon system. Unlike before, now you can only carry one of each weapon type that, when not in use, will neatly get attached to the new backpack that we'll add. Additionally, the mod will also change the pickups, which now display the name and ammo type of the weapon, as well as give you the option to pick it up with the click of a key or swap it with an existing one if that slot is already taken. Although we'll still add the option to drop at any time any weapons that you no longer need. Gun recoil will make shooting more challenging, with some of them now working very hard against you, especially heavier ones, while manual reload will force you to swap out the clip yourself once it's empty. Additionally, we'll make it possible to use shotguns in vehicles and be able to use different types of melee attacks while on a motorcycle, which looks really cool, albeit not being very effective, but you know, still pretty cool. And speaking of vehicles, they will now have a limited amount of fuel, shown with the orange bar down here. Once it runs out, you need a jerrycan to refuel your tank, and if you don't have one, you can obtain it at pretty much any gas station. Of course, if you want, you can keep a reserve in your car trunk that can now be used to store weapons as well. Just don't forget to take them out of there because they don't get saved. Also, for vehicles, we'll add more realistic deformation and driving physics and make it possible for unfit ones to get stuck on off-road terrain like mud. Most sedans will be challenged, but larger vehicles have no problem navigating in here, which is why you need to be more careful with your choice of transport depending on the area you're in. Of course, if you really like the vehicle that got stuck, you can now attach it to another one thanks to a winch and pull it to safety, and it also works great for cars that are broken or have run out of fuel. Other features that we'll add are binoculars that can zoom in much like a sniper, crouching and crawling so you can take better cover while shooting, seat shuffling can also come useful in some situations, and for people who might want an even greater challenge, there is a mod that uses the armor as a pain threshold, so once you lose it the player starts limping and you need to take cover for a few seconds to regain some of it before you can move normally again. There's also a pretty neat mod that will hide the heads-up display and map and will only bring them up with the click of a key for more immersion. It also has the option for no crosshair, which makes things extra hard and will prompt you to use the first person and weapon sight more often. But yeah, all of these combined should give you a pretty realistic and challenging experience that will extend your playtime. One of the easiest way to enhance the environment is by using a script from the mod A Long Winter that will randomly scatter wrecked vehicles all across the map. This by itself will completely change the atmosphere of the game. On top of that, enable all interiors will give you access to more buildings where you can take a hiding at. Using the same mod we can also enable some scenes from the storyline like the train crash on the bridge, the fallen plane, and others alike that will add that extra feeling of destruction and abandonedness to the world. But as to the rest, you can pretty much make it whatever you want it to be. What you're seeing on your screen and the different variations I have shown in my zombie series are just a few examples of how you can customize the experience to your own liking. Now, to complete this whole thing, I also use appropriate clothing, more rugged weapons with a lot of imperfections, and this over-exaggerated dirt texture to make the cars look more worn out as they ought to be in an apocalypse. The rest is just general realism improvements like better fire, explosions, sound effects, and other textures. Lastly, to make things more unique, I also use custom effects like when you get shot or are low at health, and a new map that I find fitting for our purposes. And with that, we have pretty much transformed our game into a beautiful, yet kinda scary zombie survival experience. If you enjoyed the video so far, then a like and a sub to the channel would be very much appreciated. Now it's time for some gameplay, and I hope you enjoy.